So like I said, I didn't check this out yesterday because I was sick. And yeah, so I'm a little bit late to the party, but I hope that's cool with everyone if I catch up on what has happened and what's the news. Rev Spear goes brutal. Yeah, so no spoilers. I would read through this and then I'm on the same page as everyone else, and then we can talk about this stuff. So let's just do this real quick, then we do some other stuff, and then we're gonna check out the big preview stream like all together anyway. Okay, let's see the video first. Can I make this big? Oh, whatever. So. Okay, your Rev Spear. Is that Torment? It should be Torment, right? Okay, we have movement skills on there as well. Floaty things. Okay, sure, nice transition. Ele. Okay. What is happening? Ooh. Wait, they made... Okay. So they're making a symbol, but then they changed the achievement of the symbol. Okay, this looks very damaging. Clones. Movement skill as well. I like how they all have movement skills. Okay, not very, like, not a lot of support in this, I believe. This is all very damaging. Unless, I guess, on Ele with water, there might be some healing or whatnot, but yeah. Okay, we're gonna skip the first bit here because it's just for the previous stream, I assume. And when to test these and whatnot. So... Oh, Mesmer is the first one on blogpost. Okay. Oh wait, why is this German? 1 second, let's swap this to English. There we go. Spear meaty details, yes, nice pun, I love it. So, okay, brings clarity to Mesmers. The Mesmers of Janfear look to the beauty of their environment to guide their spear. Through careful study of recursive designs they find in nature, they are able to weave the magic in similar patterns. Each pattern produces a unique effect, giving a spear-wielding Mesmer a variety of ways to approach a fight. The core of Mesmer's spear gameplay is the second weapon skill, Mind the Gap. You'll channel energy into your spear and swing it around in a circle. The skill is special because you will want to hit enemies with the outer edge of its area of effect. If you correctly position yourself and secure a hit in the right area, you will do more damage and gain clarity. Oh, I see. Okay, so you have to stand at a certain range, basically. Okay, sure. That will be easier on like big hitbox targets, but yeah, okay. The clarity effect allows you to imbue the next patterns you create with stronger magic, increasing its effectiveness. The exact effect of clarity will be different for each skill, so you need to plan ahead to gain the most value from it. Okay. The fourth skill, Phantasmal Lance, allows you to dash at your foe, striking them with your spear. As you dash, a phantasm is created. Ooh, okay. So Phantasm on a movement skill, that is probably requiring a target again. That is, I mean, it's not going to be used for support anyway, I guess, right? So, sure, but yeah. Like for the boon supports, that's not necessarily a good thing. For Alec and Quick Chronos, etc., since they give boons with phantasms, but yeah. So a phantasm is created at your starting location. The phantasm will dash through you, striking your initial target enemies past it. Oh, so it's piercing. If you use Phantasmal Lancer with clarity, instead of summoning a phantasm behind you, you will summon 2 phantasms at your flanks that dash towards the enemy and meet to perform a simultaneous strike. Okay. As a mobile, high damage weapon with dynamic gameplay, you want to focus on your positioning in fight so that you gain clarity, then choose which ability you want to power with it. Due to the unique requirement for careful spacing, this weapon might take some getting used to. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I was kind of expecting, so when I mentioned positioning, I was kind of expecting like you have to stand on the flank or behind or whatever, but not like 300, like at range 300 or something. So your AoE like kind of barely touches the enemy, basically, if that makes sense. Because there are not really range indicators in this game. You can use some like tools and Blizzard or for something that help you a little bit when you have to range circles. You have like a better idea of how much closer you would have to get roundabout-ish. This gets a lot easier with like bosses that have big hitboxes, because then like it's just kind of whatever, I guess. I wonder with the clarity. I don't know how you pick a skill, or if you like the clarity. It's just like the one skill that you choose right after, basically, if that's the empowered one. I like the Phantasm's piercing. That's really neat, because not all the Mesmers have necessarily piercing attacks, as far as I know. Except Virtuosos, they do already. For boon supports, having this on a movement skill and yeah, it's a DPS skill, it's a movement skill, and it's a Phantasm that will require a target, which means for Alec, especially Alacrity, you want to just kind of always have, and if you don't have a target, you're not gonna give Alacrity all that much. I don't know. I wish that you could just have it on, like, I don't know. But yeah. I wonder where you're gonna play this. Also, they didn't mention condi or power, right? So maybe it's a little bit of both as well. They went hard on like the hybridity. Is this a word? I don't know. That these spears can fulfill like various things, basically. I didn't check the video. Maybe it was. Did we see conditions in the video? Let me just check real quick. Let's see. Oh, there's Elementalist, and then for Mesmer, let me see. It might just be power, right? But yeah, this the one thing that worries me is the positioning part. I mentioned this in the last few blog posts as well, and even before this, actually. Like, as soon as a weapon or like a class or anything in this game is somewhat finicky and kind of weird to play, a lot of people will dodge it. But yeah, we'll see in a few hours, I guess, how strict this is, actually, right? Maybe it's not all that bad. Okay. Revenant Spear, destructive masterpiece. Yeah, sure, let's give them more damage, why not? Revenants who first have their spear in battle often say that it reminds them of creation through destruction. Wielding dark power from the mist, they paint the battlefield through constant pressure and debilitating effects. Let's dive in and talk about how it's condition-based hybrid weapon. So condition-based hybrid weapon. Sure. We'll start with the 5th skill as the primary ability. Abyssal Raise is ground target skill with 3 charges that strikes up to 5 enemies. You gain up to 2 stacks of Crushing Abyss per cast time. This skill strikes a foe, which amplifies the next use of Abyssal Raise. At 5 stacks, you will reach the maximum effectiveness, causing every stroke of the Abyss to deliver the most potent effect. With 3 ammunition charges available for the skill, let's discuss how you refresh ammunition using your other spear skills and maintain tremendous pressure on the battlefield while keeping Crushing Abyss active. Okay, so it's a buff you always want to keep up, basically, at maximum stacks, and you have to refresh your charges of this thing with... Okay. The other 4 Revenant skills enable the use of Abyssal Rays by reducing its ammunition cooldown. Oh, that's the cooldown reduction thing. I see, I see. And keeping you and your enemies positioned opportunistically on the battleground. Your first skill is a hybrid of ranged or alternating melee strike, and each of them reduces Abyssal Rays cooldown by a very short amount when striking a target. So the auto attack chain by default just reduces cooldown. Okay. Your second skill is a bread and butter area of effect. Attack on a target that reduces cooldown by nearly a full ammunition count. Okay. First skill reduces cooldown by a static amount and is a movement ability that leaves abyssal mines in your wake. Oh, those are the floaty, spiky orb thingies. Threatening foes who dare chase you as you pen. I see, but they only do damage if something moves through it, which is not necessarily a thing in instance content, I guess. If the boss is just standing still or is being tanked, or but yeah, or you like intentionally dish through the boss or something and drop them on right on the boss. But yeah, okay. Or you're like soloing strike missions or something like Lord Heisen does, right? Then of course that works as well. So fourth skill serves as a delayed area crowd control ability to help you land the most optimal damage as enemies attempt to flee your gaze. With all these new spear abilities coming in hot, we're excited to watch more species create on Revenant. I can imagine this being very spammy, especially so the I wouldn't be surprised if they have to adjust numbers on this already, because I don't know if they balance this with quickness or without, and how this even like feels when you like quickness drops, etc, etc. But you're attacking really quickly, and this might be first of all, it might be very spammy. Yeah, energy spending is also an issue. It's like a few things on Rev, certain utilities are really expensive as well, right? Especially when you upkeep certain things. So you have a Ventari bubble. Maybe you're playing like a Condi support, but you're also doing Ventari bubble because the fight requires a bubble, so you have to upkeep your bubble, and then your whole spear experience will suffer from that because you have a constant upkeep somewhere. I guess it's not as bad when the auto attack chain is at least like potent or something. But yeah, the like dwarf, elite, the roads, like those are very expensive things basically. If you have to also provide them. Yeah, we'll have to see how expensive the spear abilities are in terms of energy cost, if that works out. I really like to play mace and axe on the condi build, like condi herald, because those are rather cheap in terms of energy cost. And you can still squeeze in those abilities when you have something else that is expensive you have to invest energy into. Yeah, this is like a regular DPS thing. I kind of like it. I'm not into like super spammy things, so if this doesn't go like too crazy, I'm into it. So it's not like I play DPS refs all the time, but yeah. Okay, now allies. So supposedly allies have waited for this for years. Let's find out. The Elementalist wields a spear as a long-range power damage weapon capable of conjuring powerful elemental forces such as volcanoes, whirlpools, and lightning storms. So it's basically Glyph of the Storms, but it's a weapon from the sounds of this. Also, wait, power? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay. The spear has a couple of minor defensive tools, but is primarily focused on damage and crowd control, leading to a glass cannon style of play. That was to be expected though, I'll be honest. That will be more comfortable when you're unleashing spells from a distance rather than ending up in the thick of combat. Oh, so you're supposed to play ranged with this, okay. And today's post will cover a few of the skills and some of their shared mechanical aspects. That is kind of interesting. I think that will work good on Power Weaver. The thing is, Catalyst, I don't know how many finishes this has, but Catalyst has, of course, the Sphere. They have to play around, which means they need finishers, and they also should be on the target. Tempest with the overloads also kind of forced into melee gameplay because of that. I don't know how much sense a ranged weapon does, or if there's a difference if you go melee or, like, you know what I mean, because we had the Warrior Spear, I believe, that was more effective at range, right? You can play it melee, but you do more damage and everything when you're further away. I don't know if they mean the same thing here. Starting things off with the 4th air attunement skill, we have, oh yeah, right, and then it's like 20 skills because 4 attunements. We have Twister, a ranged ground target area of effect skill that unsurprisingly creates a twister at the location that damages and inflicts vulnerability on enemies in the area. The skill, as well as the 4th weapon skill and other attunements, has an additional effect against enemies that are within a smaller inner radius near the spell's center. A rewarding precise placement. I see, so you have to basically drop it right on top of the target, and when your target is right in the middle, the effect will be stronger. But the circle is really, really big, apparently. Okay. Yeah, when Twister strikes enemies near its center, it will also bring those enemies up to float in the air. I see. So it's a CC. It's a hard CC even. It's not even soft CC because float is, yeah. So that's a hard CC, which is important for every fight where you're not supposed to hard CC, like the frigging ice and Wing 5. But yeah. Next up is Harden. The 3rd Earth attunement skill. This is a personal defensive skill that grants the user barrier and also enhances their next strike from any spear skill to inflict daze on an enemy, so more CC. The other 3rd slot weapon skills have some similarities. Each is a utility focused skill that protects or empowers the user and grants a bonus to the next. This seems to be like the Dream Weaver weapon, because Dreamer, like, they get CC, they get utility, they get self-sustain, yeah, and it's making them ranged as well. Like, this seems to be a Weaver's dream. All of these skills also have a relatively short casting time and none at all, which is important for today's final and sneak peek. Okay. The 5th weapon skill slot contains the most. Oh, what the heck? 5th weapons skill slot contains the most potent skill of each attunement, assuming you can fulfill the requirements. Each skill starts off in its base state, a quick cast that etches a spell circle into the ground. As an example, the fire skill Etching Volcano creates a spell circle that grants might to the Elementalist. The skill then flips over into Lesser Volcano, a ground targeted spell that erupts to create several damaging strikes. Unlocking the skill's full potential requires the spell circle to be completed before reactivating the skill. To do so, the user must simply use 3 other skills while standing inside this IC. So basically charging up your etching. And then you get the flip skill and then you can blow it up. This process isn't limited to spear skills, so instant casting utility skills can be utilized to speed things up. I see, so you could play this on Catalyst with like arcanes. Well, that'd be kind of weird actually, because you can, like, your arcane skills are blast finishers, so you could blast your Jade Sphere with this stuff while you also go nuts with your spear at the same time. So this is kind of, in a weird way, functional on Catalyst, I guess. Yeah. Full power volcano erupts for a longer period of time, creating additional damage, damaging areas and inflicting more damage than its lesser version. Other attunements utilize the same etching process, but each has their own flavor and skill effects. So wait, but if you swap your attunements, your etching changes, or do you have to place it new? Do you know what I mean? I wonder how that's gonna work. Because if it changes, it's basically like the Jade Sphere that also changes with your attunement. And I also wonder, if that's the case, you have to juggle two things as a catalyst. I don't know if this makes this necessarily easier. And also, is it a combo field? Like, there are so many questions, but we'll see this, right? Is it a combo field? And yeah. The other thing that I noticed, it's all self-sustain and self-boons. So it's not... yeah, it's self-sustain, it's a lot of CC, it's self-boons. So I would say utility is maybe a big word. But yeah, I can see Weaver players be really happy about this. I don't know if this how this goes on Power Tempest. And the whole like being at range thing, if there are some like rewards for this. Because they said this in the beginning. Where was it? Long range power damage weapon. You're unleashing spells from a distance rather than ending up in the thick of combat. I don't know what this will exactly mean for the game style, the gameplay style. Maybe it just literally doesn't matter and it just gives you the opportunity to do things at range. But yeah, that would be very interesting. I don't really play DPS allies much, right? I'm more the heal Tempest guy, but I am curious how this functions, so we might actually try this on the stream. As soon as we're running out of support things or like boon support things to test, basically, I can see myself giving this a try. Maybe we tackle DPS allies. After all, one day with this.